I feel pretty good about playoffs now that TSM is out, but I'm also really cautious. Like, don't get too cocky, you know. Don't start thinking about finals when you haven't even beaten Echo Fox yet. I think we just, like, one thing our sports psychologist really tells us to do is never underestimate the thing that's right in front of you and just only focus on that. Everything after that doesn't exist in your mind. And that was really helpful for Cloud9. I think we really brought a lot of energy that day. And even though we made a ton of mistakes and we fell behind most of the games, we were able to win. So I think, like, if we bring that same level of energy this week and we really just focus on beating Echo Fox, we're going to be in the finals, and then we're just one step away from winning.
Hello and welcome back to Match Point for Team Liquid versus Echo Fox. Doublelift said it best himself. They are indeed one game away from taking it in what's been a pretty interesting season for TL. I mean, they started preseason. We are this big super team, if you will, full of these star players. And at the end, they're just 5 guys smashing people in such a elegant way, which is not a word I thought I would use to describe Liquid's team.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It kind of has come full circle. Everyone was expecting them to be top 2 teams, right? And then they were struggling for a while, and everyone kind of has lost some of those expectations. But here we are in the semifinals, and they're one game away from realizing that.
Doublelift also talked about in the regular season how Team Liquid, even though they were losing some stage games and regular season games, that they weren't, you know, playing this sort of style. This is what he was talking about when he said, oh, we aren't, you know, optimized right now. We're trying more things on stage and trying to diversify a little bit.
Yeah.
In this series and in all of playoffs, they haven't actually been that diverse. And it's been building for that 5-on-5. It's been playing the mid game quite well in their objective trading that has gotten them to this point.
Definitely the case. And honestly, it's pretty crazy for Doublelift to think about the career this guy has had. And if he wins this series, you know, potentially could be winning a championship on 3 different teams, which is completely unmatched in the LCS.
And right now, you know, after the last iteration of TSM broke up this year, he is the only one, even though they were scattered to different teams, that is left of the defending champions. So Doublelift trying to defend his trophy, last man standing.
Be a pretty cool feat to win back-to-back on 2 different teams. Doublelift almost managed it once when he swapped over to TSM, but we'll see if he can get it done here. Team Liquid up 2-1, looking to seal this game. Xayah Jin banned by Echo Fox, Swain Gangplank banned by Liquid, so seeing a lot of the same bans here.
Yeah, definitely the case. And still is a chance that we see Echo Fox swap up the last ban, but you know, we were talking in between the games, and honestly, Echo Fox can win with this same strategy. When you look at Game 2, it's not like there was any big curveball. They played standard, they played with tanks, Altec had a good game, and they won. And then Game 3 felt like they really maybe overthought it a little bit. They see the Trundle jungle, their eyes get a little bit big, maybe we can smash this with the Kazakhs, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, it seems like whenever Echo Fox have tried to do the more risky, the higher skill cap strategy of having either split pusher, a little bit more
or the
flexible, yeah, exactly, those sorts of things, they haven't been able to convert on stage. There's a groan from the crowd actually that comes out with the same bans again from Echo Fox because we haven't seen the success and the impact of the Morgana bond especially, I think is the one probably going to get the most criticism, but Team Liquid, no hesitation there. Trundle once again. And this time, I actually like to see Echo Fox still pick tanks into the Trundle and play it more standard.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast the stock of Trundle has risen in the NALCS from not getting picked ever in the jungle. Well, it was still being picked in EU and more recently LCK, to getting picked some. And now it's like, oh, yep, first pick in this series. Because if you can blind pick Trundle as they did last game and beat a Kazakhs, well, you're certainly going to feel really good about going up against any potential tanks.
What went over, though, this time around, also an important pick, the Caitlyn. The good game for Altec you're mentioning was his Caitlyn game. So if Echo Fox can have that security from the bottom side, it might be worth it.
Definitely the case. This is the same core 3, though, from the last win that TL did have. You have the Ashe, more utility-based, and then the Cassio to be able to punch through, and it is going to be the Olaf. So while it is a bad jungle matchup, so to speak, still can be more effective as far as the team fights go, and we'll see where Echo Fox is going to go with their top lane pick.
Yeah, I mean, they just have different strengths. Olaf is still very strong in the early game, and he can try and create plays, but yeah, Trundle, especially Trundle with Red Smite, is one that can actually go toe-to-toe with Olaf,
yeah.
you know, eventually. So that's something you have to watch out for, that he doesn't usually have to watch out.
The one time we saw it, Dardoch had a great early game and just couldn't convert from there. So we'll see how it shakes out as Olleh and Camille will be traded back and forth. Both the top laners from last game getting the attention. A Braum Bam from Echo Fox. Didn't like kind of the laning power of that champion. Probably setting up for Tahm Kench in first pick in phase 2.
It will be very interesting to see where Huni is going as far as where is he in his mindset, right? Does he have confidence in the rest of the team to play a standard game where he has to be more of a, kind of secondary or tertiary role on the tank? Or is he saying, you know what, I need to carry even harder? Is he looking towards, the Fioras or the Gangplanks or things like this? And
well,
there's your answer.
Gonna be the Shen, gonna put his faith in the rest of the team. Shen can do very well with Olaf. If Olaf is diving into your team, yes, sometimes you can just melt him down. But if there's a Shen coming in on his back, it's going to add some more weight to the axe.
Could still potentially be a flex pick. Definitely, could be top lane, but could be an Adrian pick there too. So we have to watch out for this. And it's kind of a smart pick because you can wait and see, all right, what is the pick here for impact? And then move it around based on that.
Yeah, I would say that Huni, especially, in that Cho'Gath game, actually did a fair amount of carrying even when he was on the tank. So, having that true damage execute, he turned 2 big mid lane plays with his Cho'Gath, landed most of the ruptures as well. So definitely not a bad thing having him on a frontliner also.
And Sion is a champion that's so hard to abuse in lane no matter what you pick. So they are just going to send the Shen up to top lane. It's just going to be tank versus tank. But Caitlyn Nami is a new spin because this is such a strong 2v2 lane. I think he should have a very big advantage over the Tahm Kench Ashe.
And it is a pushing lane with an Olaf. Plus, they're going to have the Ryze trying to, push in the mid lane. And Fenix has done a pretty good job of moving up when Dardoch needs him. So if they have Huni, Stand United, plus pushing bottom side, and an Olaf, they're going to see it coming because that's what you do with those sets of champions. But sometimes if you see it coming, that's not even enough.
Yeah. I like the spin here for Echo Fox, more tempered aggression. You kind of split the difference on, okay, we're not playing completely standard with the, Cho'Gath beefy front line, wanting those globals, wanting a bit more assistance with that map play, but picking a bit more aggressive in this 2v2, almost baiting the Tahm Kench pick.
One thing you do have to kind of look out for, though, is while this is a strong 2v2 pushing lane, Nami is very vulnerable to ganks, and especially when Ashe hits level 6, if you hit an arrow on Nami, she can just be lights out.
You die pretty quick, as it turns out. We'll see how Adrian fares on pretty different range supports in a lot of China bans this series as well, so something he is certainly proficient on. But Team Liquid, everything to play for here in this game. Echo Fox just trying to battle through and at least get to play one more game. I think everyone would be happy to see this series go the distance. Already happened to me yesterday. I'll do it again.
Game 5 definitely on the table here. And Huni, a guy who has wanted for so long to get to the finals in NA. He has won EU, he has won LCK, but he always seems to fall short when he is in North America despite dominating regular seasons. And once again, he's up against it.
And don't underestimate a Shen in the early game. You may be thinking all about bottom lane from the very beginning, but Shen taunt plus the pass-through on your Spirit Sword would allow you to do percentage health damage. With an Olaf gank, you can still get those kills. You can get those early game snowballing. And I actually do like ganking for Shen sometimes early on because you can get to Stand United earlier and you get to pay that gank forward, then to the bottom side, move it around. Here we go, though, some early action, some axes thrown, but no harm, no foul.
Nothing too crazy going on. It's also a pretty interesting matchup, just the interaction between Taunt and the actual Q coming out from Sion, the Decimating Smash, because as he's charging it up, when it hits a certain point, it actually will get the knock-up. But if you taunt early enough, you can interrupt that before he can get to the knock-up point. So you have to really kind of know those breakpoints very, very well in this matchup, or you risk taunting forward and getting knocked out of your taunt and kind of being stuck with no way out and a poor trade.
Early volley there for Doublelift, gets a very slight health lead, but it looks like Adrian going to heal that right back up. Junglers are starting actually on opposite sides this time around. Top side for Dardoch, bot side there for Xmithie. He's getting help from Olleh, so they should know what's happening there on that lead.
Yeah, and I mean, they knew probably where he is starting or can at least have a good guess because of that vision that they got over on the blue buff. So I'm going to be able to track that jungle start fairly well. And Dardoch, you can see him getting really, really low here in the jungle to utilize that passive Berserker's Rage. 1% more attack speed for every 1% of missing health.
My favorite time of the day, though, is spam that Spam those chats. Who will win the series? Let us know by voting in either Twitch or YouTube chat by spamming TL or FOX. Get them exact. That's the only way to count the votes, I believe. But it's fun. If I had chat, I'll be spamming right now.
It is definitely fun. We'll see if we can update with the graph later on. Here we go, though. Huni does go in for the level 2.
All right, going to trade back there from Impact, but Huni, you can see significant damage. I mean, obviously Impact's only level 1, but Huni's certainly getting a good early trade, has Grasp as well to supplement that 1v1 lane.
Yeah, and Grasp is going to be very nice. Oh my god, that damage on Double if he gets caught with the trap there. And you are going to get punished heavily if you ever get caught with that.
Yeah, Caitlyn and Nami here, complete control of the lane. As we were saying in Champ Select, we've got the old NA plus EU. So that happens, by the way, when they run it a little bit earlier. Those are the default we have in there. Maybe we can update it with the new and improved Team Liquid.
Don't stop spamming, though.
Don't stop spamming.
Oh, actually, good route now. Ignite down, first blood out of nowhere.
Ryze!
Fenix just coming over with the early Ignite. They just blew Xmithie up there, and Xmithie is going to lose his jungle here, too.
I love coming around the edge there. Good use of Fog of War by Fenix. Gets him with the surprise attack, flashes in. And he actually had Ignite too, Spellbook Ryze here, looking for offensive plays, because that's what we said in Champs like mid pushing, bottom pushing, Olaf in the game. This is where they want to make plays.
Yeah, Xmithie just moving up there, pretty confident. They saw him move over.
There was no, Fog of War.
He's just not expecting the damage, I guess. I mean, just walked up, bold as you like, and gets reminded just how much early damage Olaf can put in. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, tragedy is kind of striking here for TL.
I thought it was going to be all sneaky, and we're going to see the replay just on the edge there around the Raptor pit. But
close your eyes, it's sneaky.
Nope. Okay.
Much more brute force situation, but played well by Echo Fox to grab first blood. And this is kind of the style that I think a lot of people were expecting for Fox in some ways. Maybe not in bot lane, which is a nice change. I do like this adaptation, but 3 pushing lanes is music to Dardoch's ears.
I mean, one of the coolest things about that early kill on Xmithie is putting the jungler behind makes it even more difficult for him to make the proactive plays, which then defends your aggressive 2v2 lane that is already creating a very big advantage. So a lot of good things happening here for Echo Fox, certainly.
Yeah.
Oh. Feels bad.
All right, go next. Missed the cannon.
Huni just getting the last hits in. Looks like pretty even there on the top side. The early advantage kind of worn off. As Dardoch puts the ward down, Impact's like, yep, I know exactly what that means. But Dardoch just goes back to farming instead.
But it's also really awkward because the wave is kind of pushing towards Huni, so Impact knows he's there, but still wants to shove in the wave. And when you do that, you expose yourself.
Yeah, I think maybe Team Liquid were taken in a bit by the early Shen pick, and maybe assumed it was bottom lane. But the double range definitely taking its toll here. Olleh taking a beating. Altec and Adrian constantly at the turret. Doublelift feeling it in the CS. And the tower damage is going to continue to accrue here, slowly whittling away at bottom.
I mean, one of the most frustrating parts about these sort of 2v2s when
double
range,
they did
there we go, versus the melee support is your melee support often cannot prep the minions for you under turret. And at these early levels before you bought up AD, you need to prep them on those ranged minions with a tower hit. So it needs to be the support comes in, and if you can't do that, you miss out on so much more.
Oh, Dardoch with a Predator here, comes on to Pobelter. No ult, but maybe not enough. Pobelter with the insta-cleanse flash, but Dardoch, such a great gank there.
Yep, going to get 2 summoners as well as most of the health bar off the Cassiopeia. And you talk about paying the ganks forward, now there's a Ryze. Realm Warp is available. He gets to come in and pressure.
The Raptors.
Bunch of dominoes.
Really nice extension here for Echo Fox Xmithie. He just knows he's forced out from that camp. He goes down to Krugs instead.
Yeah, there's no way you want to take even numbered fights either, because Huni now is level 6, has Stain United. Impact's got the pressure at the moment, but...
Go for the ulti.
Nice flash from Huni, but Impact might still have enough to slow from the shout. Good taunt from Huni. Gets out safely.
Yeah, nicely done there, pressuring from Impact, getting that flash. Definitely some potential to chase him down if he's pushing up again. Xmithie's up on the top side, but TL is just looking to stabilize. They're definitely being very heavily pressured. The early Lucidity boots with Predator are going to be nice from Dardoch, and the bottom lane is struggling a bit. But if you can keep the deficits where they are and not allow them to continue extending, you can stabilize.
It is exactly the same game plan as we've seen from Team Liquid. However, they have a bigger problem to deal with this time around, that Echo Fox's bottom side.
I mean, kind of uncharacteristically getting a lead, and sure, the matchup indicates that, but even in the 2v2 player skill-wise, you may not necessarily expect it, but Altec swapped away from Doran's. Shieldy has the Doran's Blade, and Adrian's been playing the lane so well.
Yeah, if you go Doran Shield with the Caitlyn Nami into a melee match,
And you got some problems.
Yeah, I have words for you.
You need to work on your confidence.
Yeah. That's definitely an insecure laning item there.
And the pushing continues, and again, all that pressure from the top side, letting the pushing bot lane do its work, and that turret is taking a beating here.
And as it gets lower and lower, you always have to worry about the potential of easy dives. People can come forward, pressure you off it, look to finish off the turret, or get the kills and take the turret. So definitely a lot of concerns here for TL as that gold lead is opening. You don't want to give up that early turret
Yeah,
as well.
People often will think about, oh, we can't make a play on the bottom side because there's a Shen that will counter our play. But Shen can be used proactively. You just send Dardoch down there as the turret is getting low, and you force it through.
Well, Dardoch again invading. He's got Fenix and Huni beside him. Continuing to stay together as a team. Pobelter did get the blue buff already, but Dardoch just enforcing his will here in the left side of the map.
They're going to collapse, actually. Impact is on the way down.
Huni hiding around some fog of war. Fox realized that I think it's not a great idea, but they might be a little
has
too
ulti
late.
too.
Xmithie already burnt that ult. Huni going back in. I think he knows that he's in trouble. Going to try and find an angle to get out, but he sacrifices himself instead.
Yeah, makes the call to give away his life as he's down a flash. He didn't want to give the kill to Pobelter, so kind of trying to make the best of a bad situation, but that definitely backfires pretty hard.
Yeah, Xmithie just melts right through him here. Take a look at this. Focused damage onto Dardoch with the Gromp. Great coordination, superior jungler. Does get his press the attack off, then uses his ultimate, by the way. So Dardoch cannot, stay around in this little skirmish, and then Huni's left without a buddy deep in enemy territory, and it looks like another easy collapse there for Team Liquid. Even with that extra money, though, because of the CS leads for Echo Fox, they still have a gold lead.
They definitely do, but getting that kill onto Xmithie feels really important because of how he's being pushed around in his jungle, and getting that little infusion of gold and experience means it's less likely to continue snowballing. He's more likely to be able to stabilize and hold even against Dardoch from this point. And good job, really, by TL to be able to kind of recognize that.
Baited! Look at the arrow.
Smart!
Looks like a bait here, and now the Tahm Kench going to come back in. Altec forced to burn the heal. That's Olleh going in instead. Adrian with a great wave as Olleh, he's forced to flash away. Now Altec slowing them down.
But who was the baiter?
With the blessing, it may be Fox. We'll have to find out. Olleh holds on.
Definitely a funny exchange there. But junglers are going to be attracted by the use of summoners as well as a low
Blood
health
in the
bar.
water.
That's so funny now.
Those low health members. Xmithie is down here. So we'll see if they can get anything done.
Dan United's available, by the way.
Here we go. That's it. They're going to pop the ultis down onto Xmithie. Going to have to try and get over the wall. Huni looking for it, but a great TP onto Adrian by impact. Smacks him down in train form, and now Xmithie trying to leave Altec, able to get that kill. Fenix late to this play as Pobelter roams down, but it is just a 1-for-1.
Impact TP's down from the bot lane. He hits the Nas, taking out Adrian there.
No drift required, just speeds into his face and takes him out.
What about the repercussions, though? There's 3 people hovering around mid lane. Dardoch's still looking for a little bit more. He doesn't have Predator, but he does have a full health bar, and he wants to take the Dragon.
Yeah, he will be able to grab that very likely. The global is on cooldown for TL, but going to TP over and decide to try to push for this.
Yep, Dardoch is going to see that and get forced off, so instead just starts the blue buff up for Fenix. Looks like that first Drake will still be on the table between these two teams, but let's have a look at this again.
Okay, all right. One more time. The quick TP comes in from Impact, and he spies a fish. Figures he wants some sushi.
Yeah, he's going to be able to kill off the Nami. Xmithie had routed around the outside. He decides to go right back through the middle here and take a bunch more damage. Not sure if he could have kept on flickering around or what the second part of his escape was, because his initial flash over the wall when the Shen was coming in on Olaf was good and he got out of danger. But Team Liquid will eventually be able to reset here around the Cloud Drake anyway, try and get down the objective.
And these fights have been so important because it really has allowed Doublelift a chance to kind of catch back up. It was at 30 CS to 15 in the early laning phase. That has not really extended very much. It's close gap more and more and more. And if Doublelift can hit, his Essence Reaver at a reasonable time, he's going to have a lot of use in these team fights.
Definitely agree. Not only has it closed, but they've got plenty of control wards protecting the bottom side too. Look at that. All of them pretty much used by Team Liquid.
I think despite the good play, I mean, Fox is looking to do what they want to do, although this is a great
Dardoch.
flank. Dardoch has his flash, going to pop the ulti and try and run away, but the arrow in onto Fenix. Nice Zhonya's, but I don't think it's going to matter. My ass is going to trap his feet, and Pobelter going to grab that one.
Another Dardoch invade, another dead solo laner.
Yeah, Fenix comes trying to save him, and he's the one who gets picked off there. NTL's going to be able to get back to the bot side to defend this likely, but they're trying to zone them off.
Doublelift? No arrow. Use it already, but Fox, again, like, they know this turret is so low. I thought that, they were still holding strong with the gold lead. Yes, they lost the Cloud Drake, but the pressure amounts to this. TL's defense has been so good this series.
And again, the Abyssal Voyage catches him by surprise. Echo Fox, during the regular season also, there were a couple times where they didn't account for every global on the enemy team. And Doublelift and Olleh arriving just put a frown on Fenix's face there as Dardoch was eventually able to escape out of the other side. Maybe more of a face bomb.
Yeah, definitely looking pretty frustrated there either way. I'm glad he at least held onto his flash. I do think that there was no way out on
Once
that
you're
one,
dead,
so
you're dead.
just accept it. Come to terms with your situation.
That's part one, accepting your death.
Everyone dies.
Bangerall gets popped. Part one.
Well, Fenix again still trying to pressure in. I think Fox is sticking in these lanes for a little while. Just looking to pressure that advantage, but TL again just keeping it close. The gold lead was 1,000. That's been cut almost in half after the last exchange of play. And I feel like all this time Kench has been kind of an all-star in these last few weeks of the season. Cloud9 ran into the same problems versus Liquid with their macro, but Dardoch looking for Pobelter, goes on top with the Ragnarok, but Impact here first. Changing out of there, but Huni is going to join in and try and get something done. Dardoch burning down with a corrupting potion. Lower for Xmithie. They will get the kill. No, not yet. Xmithie finally flash auto gets it down. Dardoch did die to Impact on the other side. And now Adrian caught out of position. Altec here going to try and save him, but Olleh already eats him up, devours him there as well. The arrow used early, but Adrian's dead, so it doesn't really matter.
Abyssal Voyage, they're behind.
Great
Fenix now.
miasma, again going behind. The ult stunned him as well. Fenix gonna get trapped. TL just have all the answers today.
And these Abyssal Voyages from Olleh have been so on point, always in the right place at the right time.
And not even just that, the initial roam up as well gets the Devour. Here they are though, Team Liquid trying to get mid.
Fox could see the first turret gold bonus in their eyes, but they're gonna lose a lot of damage on mid right now. Not enough to complete the turret take, but Team Liquid again fighting back, and now they're the ones with the gold lead.
Yeah, doing really nicely. And Impact as well, a good roam down from top lane. He is coming here very, very quickly. So 3-man from TL coming for the collapse.
And all of these plays that are going like this are beneficial for Team Liquid. Take another look though, because Impact on the top side, he goes off chasing Dardoch to get the last hit on the jungler, and eventually able to get him with the shout. But again, Olleh had roamed up to cut off Adrian here. Stacks up his passive, devours him, runs him down to Doublelift, and they're able to kill him before he even has to arrive. Then immediate Abyssal Voyage here, you can see right next to the trap to cut off the exit kill here. Pobelter and Impact layering their crowd control very well. Miasma into the knockup, and they secure another kill. Now, if you look back, turn back the page to the early dominance of Echo Fox in this game. They had the bottom lane pushing. They have an Olaf and a Shen post level 6. They don't go for the kind of lower risk play of forcing down the objective. That turret is still stands. Now they're going down there though.
Roam Warp comes in.
Yeah, Fox trying to make yet another play. Do they overforce? We'll see. The tidal wave is nice.
Max behind them.
Xmithie already fighting out Impact in the rest of the team. A stun lands into Adrian Dardoch. Forced out of the turret. Team Liquid. They just have every solution. Altec goes down.
Pobelter.
Double gets a double. Pobelter in onto Dardoch, gonna finish him off as well. Fenix dead to rights. Team Liquid. They can see that finals in Miami.
They are getting everything. They're going to get the turret here too. They can even push for 2 turrets, and TL are taking full control of the game.
We keep on seeing the effectiveness of this Trundle into Olaf, by the way. Every time Dardoch shows up, Xmithie melts him immediately, and they run him off.
A little bit of an oopsie on that TP.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's about 1 HP on the turret, but they still have a very, very nice play. Here it is again. Impact, as soon as they commit, instant TP, really fast there from him. Xmithie able to buy so much time. Pobelter is roaming down. This Sion is so tanky, able to tank up the turret, lands multiple knockups and stuns there too.
Yeah, it's the dream meta for Team Liquid. Impact, the premier tank player, gets to play tank every single game. They're great tank matchups. Doublelift gets to play backline here. Olleh is actually on fire with this Tahm Kench, continuing to enable his team as well. And Team Liquid looking very good here with their eyes towards Miami.
And it just gets harder and harder for Echo Fox, I feel like, to be able to compete in this game. When I look at mid lane, I think of Cassio as a stronger team fighter later on than Ryze. When I look at the Trundle and the Sion against the Shen and Olaf, they seem a lot stronger in the team fighting. And it just gets so hard to be able to match up in what inevitably seems to be frontline versus frontline against the Trundle and the Sion.
And I see a team forcing a lot of plays and getting nothing out of them. Team Liquid, every situation is played out, every moment calculated, and now they're going to roam down, grab themselves an Infernal Drake.
Another Abyssal Voyage.
Oh, and another really great dive here. Altec already stunned up by the ult. Pobelter's going to try and defend, but there's no turret here as Adrian tries to flash away. Impact, this is going to deny Altec from doing anything else. Xmithie going to get it. The arrow is nice. Olleh gets to go into Adrian. Doublelift gets the kill onto Altec.
Team Liquid are running wild over this map. Pick up some more kills. There's an Infernal Drake for them to get as well. On the top side for Echo Fox, though, Huni is trying to get some pressure on top. He pushes the minion wave into the turret, but he's just Shen. Probably won't be able to get too much damage on it.
Yeah, I mean, the banner is helping him somewhat, but still, it's not like it's a Triforce user knocking down that turret incredibly fast, and they are just always in the right place at the right time. Olleh has been on fire.
Team Liquid not looking like they're going to end up fourth this season. Brand new roster, plenty of money spent, and they want to make it worth.
Certainly have earned their keep so far. We'll watch this play again.
Here it is again, the Abyssal Voyage from Olleh and Xmithie. Get in behind them. Impact is already on top of Altec, and he's just abandoned at this point. Doublelift even hitting the arrow over the wall.
Look at Impact. His health potion's ticking more than the damage Altec is doing to him.
Whew, that's rough.
That is certainly so. As the Rift Tower is still on the table, if teams want to grab it, I think Team Liquid have enough control to do so, and might as well.
I mean, Altec's sitting on the grab bag build right here. He doesn't have anything completed just yet. He has basically all components of 2 items.
Summoner's Drift!
That is
Impact has mastered the game!
That's some Frogger level dodging to get through all the jungle and zoom back down to the bot lane. TP not up for a little while, but I don't think it matters. Rift held over. Xmithie gets
Predator!
Dardoch running in, and Xmithie's like, yep, you want to do this? You sure? You sure? He's not sure. Xmithie gets the kill. Miasma stuns 1. Exhaust that onto Fenix as they look to chase it down. Echo Fox are just out of everything as Fenix clutches out, looks for the realm walk. Is going to be denied. Stun lands in. A double kill for
They're just going to do
Pobelter.
Baron. Straight to it. Right on spawn. They say thank you very much. 3 kills. Cassiopeia still alive. Yes, we'll take the Baron as well.
All according to schedule here. Can the Nami do anything about it, though? Altec's sticking around.
Oh, Olleh's just going to deny Altec from getting anywhere. Hit the blast, going to save yourself. He does do so. And Team Liquid at 20 minutes will take the Baron.
Impact's already bottom lane pushing, too. The Baron-empowered minions might help them finish off this turret.
Yeah, Team Liquid is just everywhere. They're looking in rare form today, just completely dominating in this game.
Crazy to think that their defense has been so good, and now their offense is looking even better.
Let's take another look at the hilarious event that is Olaf charging a Trundle.
Yeah, Red Smite, ultimate, a Cassio just pounding damage into you. And Dardoch is even going for the Black Cleaver second here, you know, trying to make something happen. But when you are behind as a DPS build, it is even more difficult to be able to get back in and be relevant.
Yeah, I mean, tank stats aren't going to do anything for you. Trundle shredding you. Damage stats aren't going to do anything for you because you're going to die too quickly.
Impact in again.
No.
Goodbye, Huni. Doublelift gets a kill. It doesn't really matter at this point because TL just running a rampage across the Rift. We're going to end this game certainly in under 30 minutes. We'll see if they can maybe break a speedrun they had earlier in the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is feeling like back to the first couple weeks when they were speedrunning teams, just trying to break their record time and time again. And TL are really coming together at the right point in this season. 3-0 over Cloud9, looking like they are in position to win 3-1 over Echo Fox. Put TL in their first ever finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be Team Liquid's first ever finals, but it's Pobelter, Doublelift, Xmithie, previous champions. Olleh was in the finals just last year, and Impact as well has been there before.
Superstar squad looking to just break things down. Shelly is hanging out, maybe looking for a Nexus dance as top inhib will fall down. And Fox, they're just no options left. They're 10,000 goal behind at 22 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead is just insane.
And Fox holding on, but there's not much to cling to anymore. Adrian burns the tidal wave down. They're just going to lose the turret as they try and find an engage. Torn by Huni onto Impact with Pobelter and Doublelift. They're just going to try and shred those tanks down. Huni evaporates in the front of Team Liquid. Kills going everywhere. Doublelift still maybe looking for that Penta. He wants Fenix. He's going to get it. Oh, Xmithie going to ruin that parade. A double kill for the jungle Trundle. TL still going.
Yeah, there's just 2 double kills. Who stole whose Penta?
There you
Doublelift.
go.
Team Liquid, apparently as resilient as they are. Wrathful Pobelter flashes in. He knows the game is done. Goodbye! Echo Fox's Team Liquid. They'll complete the ace. They'll speedrun a playoff game and push themselves to Miami to play Liquid's first ever final.
Fourth place be damned. They're top 2 for sure. TL having such a good playoff run here, looking incredibly dominant. 6-1 on their path to the finals.
Steve definitely feeling vindicated as far as the lengths he went to in the offseason, and these guys performing on stage is huge.
It's a rough series too for Echo Fox when you look at their team. Such a strong start to the split. For most of the split, they were dominating. They were the team to beat. And in the later weeks of the season, it felt like things started to fall apart. Things were not working as well. They tried to bring in subs. And now, you know, they still have their bye to the semifinals, but they're knocked out pretty solidly.
Huni denied again. Certainly a tough pill to swallow, but Liquid will, of course, hug Xmithie's dad and happily celebrate a commanding 3-1 victory. Everyone's getting love today. I love seeing Xmithie's dad out there in the crowd.
Careful, careful.
Don't break the plays. They're still going to play a final.
Are we insured for that?
I think Steve has certainly insured his players.
His shoelace is untied. That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Safety hazards everywhere.
Well, that was about the biggest mistake I can point for Liquid in that series, I think. An untied shoelace is about the only blemish on their record.
Smiles all around. And definitely some deserved success here. Hard work from these guys this split.
One more left for Team Liquid, and I mean, it's crazy. I think every team says this, like, oh, we'll peak in playoffs. It's totally fine. I don't think I've seen a team do it quite this way before in NA.
I mean, they're looking incredibly good, and whoever is going to be facing them in the finals is going to be nervous about going up against this team. They look so strong. Definitely a real contender here to go to MSI.
They seem like they have a really good handle on the current meta, and we'll find out tomorrow as far as their opponent and how they're looking.
I think in general, just like, I mean, I didn't even notice this, but looking down the score lines, the only team only had 3 deaths, and they're all in Xmithie. I feel like every time he died was like a pretty worthy sacrifice in that game. Like, unfortunately, we're running out of stuff to say as we're waiting to line up an interview because Liquid just played so well.
Yeah, I mean, they played incredibly well, and Huni, you know, he does get knocked out again in the semifinals. He won't be winning his NA championship this split. And it'll be interesting to see what the direction of Echo Fox is, you know, going into the 3rd place match, going into summer. Do they start utilizing subs more? Do they try to change things up? Or do they have faith that this squad can pull it together? Because the last couple of weeks really were a downward trend ending here.
That really is an interesting thing to think about because this Echo Fox squad is still such a good team in North America and should have aspirations for Worlds qualification. So the 3rd place match has huge implications as far as the points that you're going to get to be able to qualify to represent North America.
3rd place also gets you a berth into Rift Rivals, which if you want to be able to compete internationally, getting more international experience against the European teams is something that's very important because it is a different level of pressure when you are playing at MSI, when you are playing at Worlds, and getting as much of that as you can for some of your players who haven't had a lot is really important.
Still impressive that we had a very few questions for Team Liquid, but they answered all of them. Olleh played great. The rest of the team doing exactly what they need to do. But to hear more from the winning team, let's send it down to Olleh and the victorious mid laner.
Thanks, guys. Pobelter, congratulations on your victory. With this, Liquid has qualified for their first finals, but this actually isn't your first finals for you. You qualified last summer. Is the feeling any different?
Honestly, it just feels so good each time. Like, each time you go past the next stage, like, it felt so good to go from quarters to semis and from semis to finals now. Yeah, it just felt great.
And it seems like you guys have kind of blown through the competition. What's your experience through playoffs been like so far?
I think as playoffs started to come close, we started to really nail down a lot of the things that were making us lose as a team during the regular season, and we were able to just improve really quickly, and everyone was just working hard and putting in a lot of time. So I think that's why Team Liquid is kind of showing a different color than we did in the regular season, and I think we can carry this on to the finals too.
Carrying it on to the finals. Well, last week, Kane said that you guys stomped through Cloud9, but you guys weren't quite satisfied with the win. Why is that, and are you happy with today's?
C9, the set against C9 was pretty messy. Even the ones we won, it was kind of like maybe they had the control and then they were afraid to do anything with it, so we just slowly were able to take it back. This time our wins were really decisive, and it wasn't really like a wishy-washy, like 45-minute drawn-out game. And even the one that we lost, which I kind of threw my bad, we were definitely in the position to win that game. So yeah, it feels like each week we're just improving a lot.
Well, you've done it, you've made the improvements, and it has all paid off. You play in the finals in Miami next week. Who's joining you?
I think either team can advance, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to beat them.
There you go. Pobelter and Liquid are coming for you. Congratulations again on your victory. And for more, let's hear from the desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Some much-deserved confidence coming out of Pobelter there with a 3-1 victory over Echo Fox to book their trip to Miami to play in the finals at the Fillmore. Let's talk about how they crafted this victory because, again, Game 3, fairly crushing to a degree, and it seemed like the wheels were falling off for Echo Fox there near that mid-to-late game.
Same three bans. You get Trundle on Xmithie again. He had a little bit of a rough start, but started bouncing back into this game, and it got a little scrappy, but Impact had great TPs and flanks in a lot of fights this game. A little crazy that Xmithie, after getting the ult, goes right back in, gets popped for it, but the idea was good overall. And then as the skirmishes kept ringing out, Impact felt like he was having a bigger presence in them.
Yeah, and just you can also see how the Olaf Trundle matchup plays in team fights, even if Xmithie was getting run over in the early game. Really spread out fights ended up happening in the mid game, but as they continued, TL would come out on top, mainly because really good TPs by Impact. I think really good positioning by Doublelift through a lot of this. You can see he's always full health at the back of these fights, able to pick up a lot of kills. And at this point, TL had made Echo Fox mental boom.
Yeah, mental definitely boom at this point. They had once that jungle advantage was lost, it did feel like they started going a little unfocused. And this is really the highlight of it, where Dardoch just charges in there way ahead of his team. No one else is quite ready to get involved, and he's dead before Huni's even over the wall. This is Ryze Baron spawning, and this is kind of just the icing on the cake for Team Liquid.
Yeah, definitely some, some mental fortitude issues coming in here right at the end of the game. But ultimately for Team Liquid, they'll close it out nice and smoothly. Again, we heard from Pobelter there just in the interview that in comparison to their series against Cloud9, he feels that their wins that they crafted here were cleaner, crisper, right? Whereas in C9, there were definitely elements that they felt were maybe handed back to them that they didn't deserve.
I agree. I mean, in the C9 games, even though it was a 3-0, 7,000 gold deficit in Game 1, actual deficit in Game 2, and the last two games here were sub 25 minutes, even though they did drop that Game 2.
Yeah, we'll get back to the over-unders in the average game time in just a minute, which was under. But to hear more from our first finalists, let's go ahead and send it back down to Avli and Team Liquid's jungler.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Xmithie. Congratulations on your victory. I want to ask you, what was the winning factor for Liquid today?
I think it was mainly draft phase that was a really big part. When we were scrimming, we didn't really find an answer to either Trundle or even our mid picks. It was really well thought out on our end of the coaching staff. So I think that's how we breezed through mid game so easily.
Well, tell me a little bit about that Trundle in the jungle. What was the inspiration behind the pick, and how are you so successful with it today?
I think I saw it 2 weeks ago against, I think it was LCS. It was Julius against Zach. I was like, oh, it's not bad against Zach, but like, what if you go against everything? So like, we just tried it, and then it went really well in scrims.
Was it a lot of trial and error in scrims, or were there more maybe like theory crafting behind it?
I think it was mainly trial and error on our end. So yeah, it worked out so far.
Well, you took on the LCS All-Pro jungler Dardoch today. What did you think of your opponent?
I think Dardoch played really well this game actually. They played well with their mid pressure. They killed me a lot of times actually, and yeah, they played till like dragons, but they faltered really easily when we made like team plays. So like we all played together as a 5 because they played mainly split push and like really squishy. So I think we won because of that.
And I just got finished speaking with Pobelter. He sounded pretty confident going into the finals, but I want to ask you, who do you think you're going to take on in Miami?
I think they're both equally skilled right now, since I think CG played really well in the TSM series, and 100 Thieves have been looking pretty well. They got first place. But yeah, like Eugene said, I don't think it really matters. We're just going to play our own game.
Doesn't matter. Play your own game. Congratulations again on that victory. Wish you the best of luck in Miami. Back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Xmithie definitely had his hands full when it comes to, you know, the jungle-specific matchup. Of course, it was in those team fight phases that Team Liquid was able to get their edges. But while we talk about this series, I think it is important to recognize the fact that Echo Fox, their journey's not done. Whereas last week in the quarterfinals, we were saying goodbye to teams upon losing the best of 5. Echo Fox still has to go on and contend for a 3rd place finish here and those all-important championship points, as well as the bid into Rift Rivals.
I think it's really important that they get it together, as they seemed like they were falling apart towards the end there. The patch doesn't change. They're going to have whatever specific answers they have against either Clutch Gaming or 100 Thieves in that matchup. And they don't have a good history. Like, Dardoch doesn't have a good history in 3rd, 4th place matches. Huni
doesn't.
As well, right?
Right.
So it's tough for them because it's a continuation of that collapse that they've had, from the roster changes they tried to do in week 9 to pulling it back together now and not having that roster. It's been a bad finish for Echo Fox.
I might be mistaken here, but isn't the only time that they both have played in the 3rd, 4th place match against each other in
Huni
the
and
spring
Dardoch?
in 2016, and Huni beat Dardoch?
Yes.
I think that's the only time. But either way,
right,
they got to work together now because it did not look pretty today. The fact that they changed their picks up, but they didn't really change the bans out. The Ashe was a clear counter. The Caitlyn was doing fine.
Right.
So why are you still banning out 2 things? It's not really netting you an advantage anymore. It felt like just play Caitlyn into Jhin or something. I'm not sure.
And in a sense, it looks kind of like the classic super team or individually talented driven team, and the way that they sometimes curtail near the end of a season, right? You look at the way that Echo Fox started all the way back, weeks 1 through 5, hard smashing the rest of the league, right? Because they simply were better across the board and gaining advantages. Obviously, meta helped them as well with Huni up there in the top lane. And then you fast forward to now, though, and they as a team still don't seem to be gelling, while teams like Team Liquid were very vocal about, hey, we got to figure out how we play as 5, not how we play individually.
Yeah, Huni looked absurdly frustrated, and I can understand why, because he, I think, was winning every matchup that he could. The first game, he was hugely up Sion versus Shen. The last game, he was actually up in CS against Shen and was first on some of the roams until the team play started falling apart. And I understand why they did the subs, because Fenix looked bad, Altec and Adrian looked bad in this series. That part of the map, I think, really let them down down the stretch, and it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward.
Now, of course, you could tell that everybody gave their all to make sure that Team Liquid would make their first finals, but Doublelift was crucial in booking that spot, and he will get our player of the series.
And it's not just for everything that happened on the Rift as well, absorbing a ton of bans in the draft phase, getting pushed down to the Ashe, and still outperforming his counterpart for the majority of the series was a huge factor in team fights, setting his team up for kills, shooting those Ashe arrows consistently, as well as having a good laning phase.
Yeah, died twice the entire series, didn't die in any of their wins. Ashe is a pick that almost no one else has pulled out, but because of the bans and because he liked its lane matchup against Caitlyn, was very effective for them in giving them some vision to repel Echo Fox's aggression. Just really solid play by Doublelift.
Yeah.
Joining this Team Liquid team and taking them to their first ever finals.
I will admit, I had not as closely watched him in team fights until in this series for some reason specifically, and I think it was because he was on a champion like Ashe. So being crucially aware of the lack of escapes, I was like, let's look at his positioning. And it was near flawless in most of the team fighting throughout this series.
Yeah, and I think he had a great series. A lot of the players did. Impact absorbed all the Huni pressure for the most part, completely fine.
Right.
Dardoch did get the advantage on Xmithie, but every single time I felt like Xmithie bounced back in the game, as well as Pobelter going even or better against Fenix. So you kind of got to tip your cap a little bit to Steve, putting the first roster together that's going to make the finals for
Hey,
himself.
there were so many memes around it, right? Every season.
Everyone else was memeing. TSM was memeing. Cloud9 was memeing. And then the one
And guess who's in the finals,
Guess who's left standing.
Yeah, he took a lot of abuse so far this split.
They got one more best-of-5 standing between them and the NALCS title. Now, before we wrap up our conversation around this series, I want to revisit our over-under predictions at the beginning of the day. So polling those up for us, of course, I'll remind you that we had that 3.5 number for Doublelift. He was essentially well under at just 2. Moving right along to the game time average, which we had put at around 35.5. It was 32 minutes average before game
sure of that.
4.
Oh, yeah.
And then, boom, we crushed it and bring it under 30 minutes on average per game in a 4-game series. I mean, that's actually just astonishing as a standalone statistic.
I think you just look at how Echo Fox plays when they're behind. You kind of see it in that 4th game there. Like, they're not going to stop making plays.
Right.
If Team Liquid's on point, they're going to keep punishing those plays.
Yeah.
So
It gets bad, it gets
Echo Fox's
worse.
average game time was 37 minutes heading into this, but they just...
Team Liquid's was actually faster, though, than 35.5 coming into this, so perhaps the faster of the two teams. And lastly, the total number of kills in this series was put at 80.5.
Hey!
not even close. Almost 104 games.
Wow.
4 games.
Yeah.
In playoffs, too, where it's usually a slower, more mechanical, macro kind of game.
Yeah, that moves our over-under totals to 3-3.
3-3, yeah.
Series
if you're keeping track at all, or if you care,
Apparently
they're
Jad
actually
is.
tied up in their over-unders from last week to this week. With the semifinal today, our bracket only needs one more match before we know which teams will duke it out in Miami. Echo Fox will be slugging it out for the 3rd place match and an appearance at Rift Rivals on Saturday, while Team Liquid await their opponent after the series tomorrow, which pits 100 Thieves versus Clutch Gaming. Let's talk about that 1 seed versus 6 seed that we're going to be seeing tomorrow.
Jeez, I mean, what's left to say that like the giant killers in Clutch Gaming now going against the 2nd giant in playoffs, the other favorites. They took out 1 favorite. They're going up against the 2nd favorite.
Yep.
They have a really rough road ahead of them, and the two teams feel very similar in terms of play styles and who's supposed to step up.
Yeah, Febiven now the only player still remaining that's trying to win in the EU LCS and the NALCS because Huni got eliminated today. 100 Thieves still has those 2 former LCS champions in Meteos and Aframu. They also have the announced today coach of the split.
Yep.
And I updated my probabilities from earlier, Dash.
You going to explain them, or are you just going to say
No, technically, based on my probabilities, TL now has a 54% chance of being LCS champions.
Wait. Oh, but that's because they only have 1 series left to play, and 100 Thieves
Correct.
has 2.
Yes,
so,
that is what happened.
Kind of lopsides the numbers there. Take that with a grain of salt.
If 100 Thieves meets TL in the finals, I have 100 Thieves as a slight favorite. We'll
exactly,
see.
that's my
We'll see.
point, is if 100 Thieves wins tomorrow, then they are the actual favorite statistically against Team Liquid. But
Glad we
again,
covered that.
we heard from the 2 players on stage. They're not necessarily concerned with who they're going to have to play in the finals. Team Liquid is confident that they can beat either team, perhaps playing a little bit of the political correctness there and not saying that one team is favored over the other. But it does go back to this point you're talking about, Mark, where they're stylistically match up pretty evenly in the sense that they want to play a similar style.
Right. Echo Fox of these 4 teams was the only one left who did not play through their bot lane. They play through Cody-san, they play through Apollo and Hakuho, and they play through Doublelift, the other 3 teams. So these other matchups from that we're going to see in the rest of the playoffs kind of are going to be like stylistic matchups and seeing which players are actually playing better that day versus the mismatch that we saw today.
So as a gut check question, do you feel when 2 teams matching up stylistically in the meta as it is seen now, right, bot focused, that the team with the better bot lane is going to win, or the team that plays elsewhere on the map, right, assuming even or standard sustainable bot lanes is going to win?
I think it's better bot lane, but I think more importantly, it's better team play because whenever you have this bot lane focused meta, it's so much about setup to get them in the right position. And that's where I think experience comes into play a huge amount, and 100 Thieves trumps Clutch Gaming's experience heavily. And it also just depends on how much stock you put into Clutch Gaming's performance against TSM and whether that makes them top dog for beating TSM or if you're blaming TSM's poor play. And blame a little bit more TSM's poor play for that loss.
Lots of questions. We don't have a ton of answers, but we will tomorrow. A reminder that next week the matches from Miami will start with the countdown at 12:30 p.m. PST or immediately following EU's matches in Copenhagen, whichever is later in the day. After our series tomorrow, though, make sure to stay tuned into Riot Games, where we'll be showing the NA LCS Civil War. Oh, it gets real, ladies and gentlemen. And if you need more League in your life, stay tuned after this broadcast for a rebroadcast of the EU LCS semifinal played earlier today. Now for myself, the cast of the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the NALCS. Good night.
Never underestimate the thing that's right in front of you and just only focus on that. Everything after that doesn't exist in your mind.
We're definitely strong enough to take down every team we come against.
Can we tag this guy or what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tag him.
Tag. Force his flash. Oh,
we got it. We got it.
Nice.
Flash there to get them both out the safety, but Huni, he wants blood. He's looking for it. Bumps him up, airborne there, gets the kill. They're going for Xmithie.
Look at Kalista, don't play. Kalista, don't play. He dead. Run. I look at Kalista, no flash.
Doublelift there to support. The talk goes down. The ace is complete, and Team Liquid will wipe the rift with Echo Fox's remains in this game one. Actually, they do have a scatter. Doublelift grabs a double kill. Altec still free firing on the other side. A triple kill for Doublelift. A quadra kill for Doublelift. But it's a mess as Doublelift is left unprotected. He's just ripping out so much damage. Altec finally grabs the kill. Xmithie hasn't actually gone back yet. Huni over the top, going for a massive first blood. Impact, though, finds the trade.
I'm looking top. Tower. Yeah, top.
He canceled. We can kill. Nice. Team Liquid find a very strong-looking win.
Can we kill this guy or what?
No, if we come.
Look at him.
Just kill him.
Oh, root now. Ignite down, first blood out of nowhere. Gonna have to try and get over the wall. Huni looking for it, but a great TP onto Adrian by impact.
Hey, over. We can kill them all. I'm keep tank. Hey, go mid. Let's go.
Looks for the realm walk. Is going to be denied. Stun lands in. A double kill for Pobelter. Kills going everywhere. Doublelift still maybe looking for that Penta. They'll speed run a playoff game and push themselves to Miami to play Liquid's first ever final.